So you're gonna do it. You have plans. It's Mima's 77th birthday. She makes the best cornbread this side of the Mississippi. You're going to cheat. You're gonna do it. You've decided. Fine. Life's too short, right?
Right, I agree.
Sarah and I have dabbled.
Usually on Thanksgiving, because my mom makes the best stuffing ever. So that's when we usually choose to cheat. But there are some consequences that you're going to need to know about when you do cheat.
So that's what we're going to talk about today.
So we're not encouraging you guys to cheat with this talk, but it happens. And sometimes knowing what happens ahead of time is helpful.
So the thing about ketosis is that you're either in it or you're out of it. There is no in between. You could eat a low carb diet, sure, and never be in ketosis. But if you're aiming for ketosis, then it's a state that your body goes into when you eat below a certain threshold of carbs. This differs from people. It could be 20, it could be 50. Some people even report being able to eat 100 net carbs and being in ketosis.
That's not me.
That's not me either. But because of the in or out nature of the state that your body goes into, there are repercussions afterwards. So you will be kicked out of ketosis when you eat over your allotted threshold. A lot of people won't even know what this threshold is in the beginning. Sarah and I are lazy in that we don't track our ketones. We don't test our blood. We just try to eat the best that we can by day and take it meal by meal. That's why we call ourselves technically keto. But if you do eat over it, you will exit ketosis. So that's the first thing that's going to happen. You might go into this supposed cheat meal with the best of intentions because you want to have fun, right? Like you want to go there and enjoy all the things that everybody else is enjoying. But because your gut biome has changed, you might find that it wasn't worth it going off at all. We're not saying don't ever go off keto, but we're just saying that this might happen to you because it's happened to me where I said, I'm cheating on this day, and then I go and I eat the meal, and halfway through or 30 minutes after, I live to regret it because my stomach sounds like a haunted house and I feel literally sick to my stomach. This might happen to you.
I went to Michigan in October and I was like, I'm going to have one day where I eat whatever I want. Started off at the restaurant with a sugar-filled drink. Mistake. I felt so nauseous and my stomach was in knots that I ordered a chicken biscuit sandwich. I really like biscuits if you're new here. And so
that's her thing.
That's my thing. So when I'm going to eat something not keto, I choose a biscuit of some sort. And I couldn't even eat the biscuit.
Really?
I sat there with my husband. My husband had like mac and cheese. I couldn't even look at it. I was so sick to my stomach, nauseous, because I had gone so many months without eating sugar that I had just ingested a whole bunch of it. This drink had Pop Rocks on it. Why did I think that was a good idea? Because they were like popping all the way down while I'm like, what was I thinking? This drink had sugar, it had Pop Rocks, it had syrup. It was just the worst thing that I could have ordered at the time. So just know that you might be like mentally hungry, but when you actually eat these things, they might ruin your night. I had to go back to the vacation spot and just sleep it off because I was so miserable from just ingesting so much sugar.
Maybe you don't feel bad.
Good for you.
Maybe you don't have a terrible reaction in which you feel like your stomach is ripped apart or you feel totally nauseous because of the amount of sugar that you ate. But when you get home, the next thing might happen, and that is you might not be able to sleep. I have done it where I've gone home, I go to bed, and I cannot fall asleep. And not only that, I feel extremely hot and sweaty, and I roll around all night. I wake up in a sweat. But that might happen to you. So prepare for a restless night of sleep if you go crazy on the carbs. If you go off and it's a little bit, you might not experience this type of stuff. But Sarah and I don't tend to go off a little bit. When we go off, we spring off of the deep end into Biscuit City. Might as well just
really
go crazy with it. Right. So if you just go over your carb intake and you happen to slip out of ketosis, I doubt you're going to feel like the way that we feel when we just go off the deep end. There's that to think about. You can always salvage yourself if you just go over a little bit. It's not going to be a huge deal.
Like cheat for one meal, not all three. You know, Emily and I have been battling our weight our entire lives. And when we used to cheat in the past, it wouldn't be just like one meal. It was like we thought about every meal that we could cheat on for that day.
That's all we thought about.
Yeah.
So we ruined it. Breakfast, snack, lunch, snack. Let's stop by this ice cream store.
Anything that we could fit into the day, honestly. Yeah.
Dinner, and then, hey, we got to get something for later as well. It's bad. And not only that, but like the next day.
Yeah.
Like when there's leftovers. We are terrible. That's why we tend to just try to stay true. Because many of you know this, that back in 2016, when we started this channel, we decided to have a free-for-all on a vacation, a weekend vacation. I think it was 3 nights. 4 nights?
4 nights probably.
It was 4 nights. So we decided to go off for this trip only and then didn't get back on for 3 years after that. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, we're not telling you not to indulge. We're just telling you what might happen. I think it's unreasonable to think that you're going to be in ketosis every day for the rest of your life. I don't like when people say that, and I don't like when people guilt other people for having a misstep or deciding that they want to get off. The important part is getting back on. The sooner that you do that, you mitigate the damage that you've done. We did not do that. That's the problem. We just said, for 3 years. 3 years. We went wild for 3 years eating. And me and her together,
we can do some eating.
Yeah, we can do some eating for sure. Get back on. That's always what we're going to say is that, fine, you messed up. It happens.
It doesn't matter.
Get back on the next meal. If not, the next day. So you've had a restless night. It's bad. You get up and you make the mistake of saying, I wonder what kind of damage I did. I'm going to step on a scale. First of all, why are you going to do that to yourself? But you're going to do it. You step on a scale, you're 7 pounds heavier. We're here to tell you that that's not fat. It's water weight, most of it.
It's impossible for you to gain that much weight, physical weight, fat. It is water weight. You are retaining water. You go back on, you're going to drop that water weight in the next couple of days, and then you're on the righteous path again.
Right.
It's okay. No reason, like us, before we even realized it, we would do the same thing. We would cheat, weigh ourselves, and be so disappointed that we had just lost all the progress that we made. It's not fat, it's water weight. So get back on, you can do it.
The easiest way to do that, by the way, is to make your first meal a keto meal. It just sets you in the right state of mind. If you don't plan the next meal to be a keto meal, you could go years without ever getting back on. And by the way, one of the best ways to get back on keto and not even think about it is try Factor, who is the sponsor of today's video.
Factor reached out to us how many months ago? It's a pretty long time.
It's another life.
Yeah, for us to try their meals, and honestly, we were really blown away with the quality, and we don't know how our lives would be without it. So every week we go onto our computers and just peruse their new menu, and I always pick out the new items because I love trying them. Some of our favorites are
the chicken piccata, which one of you guys mentioned is also your favorite, and I forgot.
Keto mushroom burger. The sauce on there, divine.
They also have a variety of add-on options like keto protein shakes. They have keto desserts. They have keto fat bombs. They have cookies. Everything that you could ever want to set yourself back on the right track, they have it.
And I've had to commute to and from the office, sometimes 2 hours every day. And there's nothing better than getting home, putting one of these in the microwave and eating in 3 minutes flat. There's no cleanup, there's no cooking, there's no grocery shopping. It saves me a ton of time during my work week and takes a lot of stress out of my life. And if you have people in your household that aren't keto, maybe they're a vegetarian, they have those options. You can just go on and pick the meals that you want.
So if you're ready to get started with Factor, you can get started for just $6.19 per meal by getting up to $120 off over your first 5 weeks by clicking the link in the description or using code KETOTWINS120. So the last consequence of having a cheat meal or a cheat day is that you will stall your progress for a while. You've gained water weight, now you have to go back into ketosis. You might still have glucose in your blood. Who knows? Your blood sugar might be high. It's going to take days to get back into ketosis. Sarah and I have said before that it could waste a week for you. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't, a week, what's a week? You spent years being bigger, you spent years overweight. What's a week, right? But it can do that to you. So that can be very discouraging. So you will gain some water weight back and then you'll step on a scale and maybe the next day you're still the same. The next day after that, maybe you lose a pound or two. It's going to take a while to get you up and going again because you have to go back into ketosis, you have to shed the water weight, and then you continue on. But the most important thing that Sarah and I have always said is that you have to continue on. Like, you have to go back and you have to start again. And we all have moments where we go off. We all have moments where, you know what, the person inside me that still is here says, I want that thing and I don't care what I have to get it. I remember back when I was obese, I would do pretty crazy things to get food. I was manipulative. I would guilt my husband into stopping home from work to get me the things I want, or pout, or be angry that he didn't want to order anything. And so there's still that lives inside me, you know? And so sometimes I'm not strong enough to resist. It doesn't happen often for us anymore because we've been on this for so long. Like a couple times a year, we go off. The important thing is catching yourself. One day can turn into a week, which can turn into a year. We've done it. Years have gone by where we just said, forget it. So that's the most important part. Everybody's going to slip up. It's what you do in the hours and days after it to get back on the path that you want to be. You want to be it, right? You think about this thing. You dream about being thin. You dream about losing the weight. You have to take the steps to catch yourself and go back on. And that's the hardest part, because even after you lose the weight, you still have to control yourself. And that's hard because we are binge eaters. So every day, I don't want to call it a struggle. It's every day you will have to make choices. And if even at this point, Sarah and I could let ourselves go. If we let ourselves slip, we could go wild for months. And you have to learn to keep yourself accountable. And that's the most important part. The cheat meal is done. You've decided. What are you going to do after that? I'm sure that you ate for years or decades to get where you are now. And it's like every day feels like this. It's not amounting to anything. It does amount to something. Little steps can put you either in the wrong direction or the right direction. One meal might not matter in the short term, but a dozen bad meals, 100 bad meals, that's months. So make the right decision, go back on, even if you are angry that you have to do it. I remember a lot of times I'd be angry that I had to go back on because I would look at people that were thinner and I said, why do they get to eat what they want and I can't? And guess what? Life isn't fair. And so that's just a hand that I've been dealt. And you know what? I've caught it. Like, I caught it in time to make a difference. And that's what's important. Now I get to live the rest of my life feeling better. And that's worth it to me. You have to weigh how you feel. And at the end of the day, it's not just about weight. And that's the crazy part about all of this, is that I never knew what it felt like to feel good before. Until I was on keto for a long time and I said, wow, I just feel like a completely different person. Do I want to go back to constantly feeling sick to my stomach? No.
So, like, take that moment when you cheat and realize, wow, I don't feel good.
Right.
I don't feel good when I eat. I feel terrible for hours afterward. Use that as, like, motivation to not make that mistake in the future. Or to get back on.
Right.
Even. Fine, you had the cheat meal. You wanted the biscuit. I get it. But the next meal, you're going to get back on. And that's what we do now. We don't let it spiral into multiple days, years, months. It's more about the long term than the short term with this. It's a lifestyle, not a diet. And we talk about that all the time in our channel.
And one of the most challenging times to stay keto is on vacation. And Sarah and I recently went to Hawaii for a little vacation and made a video about it. So if you would like to see some of the clips from us from Hawaii, you can click the video on the screen and we'll see you over there. Anyway, I'm Emily.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the Keto Twins, signing out.